Hey guys, G.I. Rowley here one more time with part 3 of an introduction to G.I. Joe Classified. As you guys know, it's my favorite G.I. Joe line right now. I've been enjoying it for a few years now, and I hope that you have as well. If you're new to the line and you're curious to know how it started, or if you've been in for a while but just never really found out or never wanted to before, this is a great way to get some info, some background, or get an idea of what it was like when we started running after these guys a few years ago. The line started in 2020, and if you missed the first 2 episodes, you can go into my channel, look them up. I hope that once you're there, you can like, you can subscribe, and keep following. Even though we mostly do unboxings, I thought it would be a good idea to spend some time reminiscing, I guess, and checking out these first waves. So we've looked at wave 1 and 2. We've looked at what the few figures were like and some of the variants. This isn't really a third or fourth wave, although many consider it to be. I know I do, but for many, and on paper, it's technically the first exclusive wave. So yes, we're going to take a look at the first wave that was exclusive to a store, in this case, Target in the United States and Toys R Us in Canada. Now, I'll try not to go into the feelings that surround exclusives. I am personally not a fan of exclusives. They don't make sense. I'm sure there must be some marketing reason. Somehow having only one store sell a certain wave has to somehow make financial sense. I don't see how they could possibly sell more when I'm pretty sure they're selling less of that particular figure or wave of figures. But hey, what do I know, right? I'm just a little old collector trying to get the figures he wants. So these were exclusive to Target and to Toys R Us. They followed the line, so we saw numbers 1 through 9 before this. Actually, we saw number 00 to 9, and now we've got 10, 11, 12, and 13. So just before I get into them, a few of them had some variants that I'll try to talk about, but the most important thing I want to share is that the idea of these were cool, but how it came out made a lot of people frustrated. So for example, we'll start with number 10, Beachhead. So even though these are part of the exclusive, and they had their own name, the marketing was cool. It's Special Missions Cobra Island. I mean, just the idea of it. You tell me, hey, it's just going to be a special sub-theme of, Special Missions Cobra Island. It sounds exciting. Marketing is nice. It says Cobra Island right on there. There's a map of Cobra Island right in the back. And each one of them actually has a little variation of the map because it shows positions, I guess. Sounds cool. Problem is, pretty much sold out as soon as they came out. Whether it was short supply, bunch of guys grabbing them to resell them on eBay, I don't know what it was, but these were hard to get. And this is pretty much Beachhead. This was the Beachhead. This wasn't like a second version of Beachhead that came out. This was pretty much the Beachhead. Does he look exactly like 86 Beachhead? No, it's slightly different, but it's an updated version, just like the other ones were. Like if you look at Duke and Scarlet, they were not exactly like their 80s figures. They were like an updated version, a modern version, not quite realistic, because these are not exactly realistic to what an army team would look like today. But relatively speaking, they've been modernized. There's something about them, maybe close to what a live action version would look like. Either way, when this came out, Special Missions Beachhead was classified Beachhead. If you didn't have this guy, you just didn't have Beachhead in your collection, and that was no fun. Well, to add, I guess, insult to injury, people discovered that there's actually a variation, listen to this one, of the eye color. So yes, at some point somebody found out that some of them had blue eyes, some of them had brown eyes. Then people started coming out with gray and hazel. And listen, I'll be honest, didn't never really much cared for that kind of variation, but there were people hunting for that specifically. So there were people in the groups saying, hey, I have a beachhead for trade looking for this, and people would be asking, well, wait a second, what color are his eyes? So I think this one has the blue, but really it was just beachhead. I just wanted beachhead, and I happened to walk into a Toys R Us one day when I wasn't really quite collecting it and saw him there and said, you know what, I think I need to grab him. Glad I did. So this was number 10, beachhead. Number 11, Roadblock. Now this is the one that maybe, hurt the least or bothered us the least, because there'd already been a Roadblock. So if you want to have an exclusive Roadblock that not everybody will be able to get a chance to get their hands on, go right ahead. As a matter of fact, especially since most people don't think this guy even looks like Roadblock. A lot of people are saying, hey, this is probably heavy duty. Just somebody made the decision to market him as Roadblock because it was a more popular name, or maybe didn't even recognize that it wasn't Roadblock. For whatever reason, this was a Cobra Island Roadblock, and I think everybody was okay with missing out on this one. Proof of that was that he turned out to be the guy that was most available at one point. I guess maybe the first shelf warmer, peg warmer of the line, especially of the exclusives. I don't know of many exclusives that actually sat on the shelves for long, but yeah, he was definitely one of them. So let me get to the one that I think irked people the most. Cobra Island Trooper. Yes, for some reason, Hasbro and Target thought it would be a good idea to have an army builder as an exclusive. I mean, let's face it, I don't want to have a hard to find beachhead. I don't want to have a hard to find of any character. Again, not a fan of exclusives. But to have a figure that most people want multiples of as an exclusive, I think that was asking for trouble. So anybody who likes to open will obviously won't buy multiple. I mean, if you just collect and you keep them in box, all you need is, number 12 next to your number 11 and your number 13. You've got one, you're happy. If you want to open them and display, if you want to build a diorama, if you want to, create a scene on your shelf or somewhere in your house, or if you're actually going to play with them, whether it's you or with your kids or whatever, who wants a single Cobra Trooper? You're going to want multiples. So yes, this definitely created a frustration for many collectors. And that's without mentioning the variant. Yes, of course, there had to be a variant of the hard to find Trooper. So I don't want to make it too long, but I might cover it maybe in another video specific to this. But the initial run of these had this blue, which is a nice blue, by the way, different from the 80s, more flashy blue, a more realistic blue. Have this blue suit, and as you can see, have like this black vest. Right, it's looks like it could be removable, but as far as I can remember, it isn't. I mean, not without cutting or breaking anything. And underneath that, there's like a bit of a vest that is covered by this plastic vest. And you can see he has a collar and what I'll call his shorts. So the space here between his legs. Although he is mostly blue, the collar and the shorts are black on the first release. Now, for some reason, I don't know if they produced more and this changed, or it was just some kind of running change, But later on, there were some Cobra troopers available with a blue collar and blue shorts underneath this vest. So, of course, those collectors that like having all the versions had to now run after this. So you've got at least two variants. There's actually a third one. Maybe I'll share a picture of it because I've got one of them in my collection. There's actually a third variant where the shorts and the collar are actually a different color. One is black and one is blue. I don't even remember right now which one it is. I'll have to pull out the figure to show it. So there's actually a third very rare variant. I don't usually share it a lot, but I figure I'd share it here with my viewers. And I recommend that if ever you want to chase this third variant, make sure you buy it from a well-known and respected, trustworthy collector, because obviously you can see how if it's been opened or tampered with, well, someone could just get one with black and one with blue and just kind of, do a swap to create this third variant. But it exists out there, new and sealed. I've had, I believe, two in my hands. Sold one, still have one, not planning on selling it. So for those guys, it's got to have everything. I guess that's something for you to chase. And number 13, Baroness with COIL. Now this, in my opinion, is a beauty. It was back then, it still is now. This came out at the same time. Now most people sort of see her as a later release or not quite together, but the reality is that they were all supposed to come out together. I can see how some stores might not have put them up on the shelf at the same time, or maybe not even received them quite at the same time, or maybe they did and didn't realize it because, right, all of these are the same size, so you can see how the cases would all be the same. They're probably all in cases together, actually, a mix, assorted case where you open up and probably had two of each or something along those lines. And this is obviously a bigger case, probably just, cases of two of these or three or four, but obviously separate. But it did come out pretty much at the same time, and some stores did have them on the shelves together. Before they were grabbed, of course. And this became probably the rarest and most expensive figure in the second market for G.I. Joe classified really fast. Guys, share your stories in the comments later, and I'm sure there was some that were more and some that were less, but I remember hearing stories of $250 US in the second market for this one figure that retailed for what, maybe $30, $35. But yes, that's how crazy it was, and I can see it. I can see how. It also looks nice. It's big. It's beautiful. I could see how it could command a bigger price. Paying $200 for one of these. Although, and I saw it happen. I saw people paying $100, $150 for Beachhead, but it somehow probably hurt more, and it just didn't feel right. But a nice big box like this. Obviously, you also have a bigger insert, and all of these had also a different insert as opposed to the usual just Cobra or G.I. Joe insert that you get in the rest of the line. So again, G.I. Joe classified, Target exclusive and Toys R Us exclusive, Special Missions Cobra Island wave was quite something. I'm sure you all got your stories of running after them, chasing them. Multiple eye colors for Beachhead, different colored collars and shorts for these guys, and of course the Baroness, sold out fast, hard to find, and who knew that for some reason, I don't know if they found boxes of it or if they just made more of this specific one or they just took them out of other territories. We all of a sudden were flooded with extras of these, like what, a year later? Maybe it was 6 months, but in my mind it was something like maybe even a year later. All of a sudden there was 2, 3 on the shelves. Some stores had 5, 6, and yeah, by the end of that year they were being liquidated at half price. So that was also maybe the biggest drop in value in the second market. And really, that abundance is really the way it should be. Maybe not to the point where it has to be liquidated, but I already find the retail price of these to be quite high. Having to chase them and pay second market prices for these is just, a bit disappointing. But a beautiful line. That's pretty much all I've got to share for this particular wave. I hope I can work on part 4 very soon. Again, if you have any questions or any comments, please share. I'll do my best to answer as best I can. And again, subscribe to be able to watch what's coming up next. I'm sure some unboxings will be next, but I'm sure we can get part 4 in there, and there's a lot of cool things left to discuss about this line. Yojo.